So, oh man, you guys wanted to record my reaction to the situation. I
Mhm.
had no idea, so I'm just watching it and going. And then, dude, there was,
I got to you too late.
oh man, there was a silhouette out there, and I seen a hat, and I seen the trench coat, and I went, okay. So I was sitting all the way back in my couch. My couch is real deep. I got the armor. I got my foot up on it. I'm sitting on my other leg. I go from that's like that situation to on the edge of my couch, verbally yelling, "There is no effing way that's who this is."
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm freaking out, and then he gets closer. I'm like, I think I even stood up. I was pumped because I've been trying to talk this guy into existence in this show from the very beginning.
It's been rumored this whole season. People have been like, "When are we going to see Cad Bane?" Like, okay, we're going to see more bounty hunters and more of the Star Wars underworld, and like, we haven't seen Cad Bane
And
yet.
he
Where
is
is
the
he?
baddest of. If you're gonna bring Black Chrysanthemum in, you
Yeah,
have to bring Bane in on the other side
yeah,
because they are two of the biggest badasses when it comes to bounty hunting. And
yeah,
there was no way they could have gotten around it. But I lost faith. I thought there was
yeah.
no way they were doing it.
This late in
But
the season.
yeah, I mean, how can you actually pull him in and make sense
Yeah.
of it? And oh my god, dude, no, let's
I
just watch
remember
this.
you saying for years, because for the Star Wars layman, as far as you think Star Wars bounty hunter, you first think Boba Fett because he's the most famous one that's been in the movies and stuff. But all this time, ever since you first watched the Clone Wars, you were like, "Nah, Boba Fett ain't it. Boba Fett ain't it, dude. It's Cad Bane. You don't know
Yeah,
Cad Bane?"
and the funny thing was that was when my Star Wars fandom overtook yours. It was always
Yeah,
you. You
yeah,
were always the one that got me into it back, the original trilogy, then the prequels. I was kind of a fan, because you were,
yeah. You're a
and
casual
just
fan, yeah,
and just like how you were a sports fan because I was when we were growing up.
right,
Well, we grew up, we moved different areas, and then my son Zach went ahead and found Clone Wars on his own.
yeah.
And then we start watching through it, and that's when
It
I
was
become a
over
book
from that
nerd,
point, yeah.
and just all the above. I mean, I found
Now you got all those
Thrawn,
little
yeah,
Lego sets behind you, and an
yeah,
actual
exactly. You
lightsaber,
see
and
Baby Yoda back
yeah,
there, and all of
it
them.
was over. But Cad Bane was one of those characters that you really gravitated towards.
Dude, I just loved how like no BS he was.
Yeah,
He was straight to the point. He would get the job done, and he would get out.
right.
Breaking into the Senate building, kidnapping, Amidala and all them in there, and blowing up the East Wing and getting away,
Yeah.
breaking out of prisons, breaking into the Jedi Temple and stealing a holocron. How
Wow.
do you break into the Jedi Temple, steal a holocron, get out, kill a Jedi to be able to open the holocron
Yeah.
and survive?
He's BA bounty
Dude,
hunter.
and that's one of the what I wanted to talk about real quick. That situation, that episode, because we were talking about the Inquisitors.
Okay.
He was hired by Palpatine to go ahead and get the holocron, get the gel, the crystal to open it up,
Yeah.
because that's when Palpatine wanted to find other force sensitive kids for his army.
Hmm.
And at the time, we had no idea what he's talking about. Later, come to find out, he's using force sensitive to hunt down other Jedi as the Inquisitors. And I'm like, light bulb went off. I was like, dang, that is freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
I went through and watched all the Clone Wars episodes. And guys, if you're interested in those Clone War episodes, if you don't know which ones they are, if you're watching on YouTube, go over to the show description, click, hit the down button to see it,
Yeah.
and everyone's there. Each season, the episode number and the name, and you'll see why I fell in love with Bane as much as I did.
Yeah, Chris did his homework this week and pulled the references and resources. It's down in the show notes underneath the video here on YouTube, so go check that out.
But there is okay. So there's one more thing I want to touch on before we
Okay.
get really into it. The rest of the episode, we've always wondered and wanted to know where the actual dent in Boba Fett's helmet came from.
Yeah.
Now this isn't canon or anything because it never actually made this season of Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
There was an episode of Clone Wars that was supposed to air in season 7 before it was scrapped. So it was scrapped in season 6, it was ended,
Right.
and then it was brought back for the final season, season 7.
Like a few years later.
Yeah, it was more than, I think it was almost 10 years.
Yeah.
It was a long ways. So there was an interaction between Cad Bane and young Boba Fett. and there was an actual like duel.
Yeah.
They shot each other in the head. And this is where everyone thought Bane was dead. But since it wasn't canon, there was nothing, it never made anything. But
Right.
that was going to be their explanation on where that dent in Boba Fett's helmet came from.
Yeah, and we didn't
It,
see him again in any form of media until the Bad Batch recently,
that's
last year.
right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that would have been episode in season 7, but never came to fruition. But
right.
that's actually, if you want to see an unclipped, like, kind of like unfinished like version of that, that's in
Yeah,
the show description as well. Click on that. I'll send you to another YouTuber's link that actually
yeah,
put it up. But that will give you some actual context on that as well. So yeah, I went down a full rabbit hole when it came to Bane, man. I was so pumped.
yeah, Christopher brings it up. So are we gonna get the backstory of Cad Bane and Boba Fett, or just a, "Oh, shit" face look from a Fett when he sees him?
We may be getting the rematch. We may be getting what we didn't get in Clone Wars.
I
There
would
may
love to
be.
just hear a line of dialogue, just like Cad Bane say something about the dent. That's all I need. Just mention it, and we'll know that that's where that came from.
I would love, because when they look at each other, just as much as Boba Fett knew who Black Chrysanthemum was,
Yeah,
him looking across the table and seeing the biggest badass in the galaxy standing across from him. I
yeah.
don't care. I mean, it just gives me, chills, man. Dude,
Because
I can't.
Boba's walking around with that helmet off a lot, and he's walking down the streets of Tatooine. I would love to see Cad Bane just walk up and just be like, "Better put that helmet on, boy. You know what happened last time," something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly. Oh man, because there's gonna be such a time difference between when they were first seeing each other and now,
Yeah,
because he was still a kid in Clone Wars,
right.
and he was a pretty good kid. I mean, not. I mean, he was a ruthless kid. He fit what he became.
Well, he was Jango Fett's son, like
Yeah.
tip off the old block.
So that was all fitting. So when he came back, and yeah, so yeah, that was the one thing I heard is like, yeah, I thought he was dead. Why is he alive? But it's like it's those people that are married to either what's legends or what wasn't, or really what wasn't.
Right.
But man, yeah, okay. Now that I'm done gloating, let's just go ahead and see this dude
Yeah,
and what he
let's
looked
watch
like
it.
in
Why not?
real life here. And let's go.
It's real to me, damn it.
Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire.
You tell your spice runners Tatooine's closed for business. This planet's seen enough violence.
You should have never given up your armor.
Oh, you shouldn't have given up his armor. That could be a reference back to Boba Fett as well.
Yeah.
Oh
True. Yeah.
man, dude, I can't.
You
I
get
just, I
chills, man. What an introduction. I love the way they created him, by the way. Like we get to see an actor's mouth. It's some sort of combination between makeup and I think the eyes got some CG going on to make him
Yeah,
more expressive and glow that red and stuff. But however they this however they concocted this, they did a stellar job because it's seamless and you get to there's no like uncanny valley. It's not like you're looking at him, you're like, oh, that looks weird or fake. Like it looks straight up like it should.
yeah.
And he's threatening, man. He's scary.
Oh, I love it when he was just looking down and you didn't see him and he's just talking,
Yes.
you see his teeth.
Oh,
And then when he looks up and he's like, I never
the
got your
brim of
name,
the hat
friend.
goes up and you see
Yeah.
those bulbous red eyes. Like,
Well,
what an
Vanth
intro.
even kind of like he
He was
hesitates.
crapping his pants, dude.
He's
He
like,
was like, who is this
whoa,
guy?
who do we got going on here? He never tells him.
Yeah,
He never says his name.
we know.
Yeah, and it was just one
I
of those
don't.
things. It was so menacing. He didn't have to.
Right.
His voice matched. Like I
Yeah.
had no issue with his voice. Some people had a little bit of issue with the blue tone, which should have been a little darker. I've got no problem with that. They had his breathing apparatus
Yeah,
on the
there's a
side of
few
his
reasons
face.
for that too. I mean, one, it's like the Clone Wars were stylized versions of stuff. So it's like the Anakin and Obi-Wan in Clone Wars don't, look exactly like Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah,
very stylized cartoon. So who knows what Cad Bane would have looked like in real life. But he's also a lot older than we've seen him last time. Like he's older, he's in the desert, he's dried out, could be paler and pudgier. Like who knows? People are nitpicking that kind of thing too. I thought he
yeah,
looked great.
yeah. No, the whole thing. I loved how quick. So we didn't even get it because we limit ourselves to how long of a clip we get,
Yeah.
but it goes right back to how quick a draw he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he shot. the marshal once, like it
Yeah.
looked like in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And then he lit up his deputy like 4 or 5
Right.
shots. Like he
Yeah.
purposely made him a Martin, just blew him up. He's like,
Yeah.
you know
Like,
what? You
kid, you're stupid for not going in like your marshal told you to.
you
So you
spoke out of
done.
turn, now you done
Right.
did. And I think he purposely only shot Vance once.
I think he did too. Yeah.
I look, the second time I watched, I was like, you know what? He could have, went back and hit him a couple more times, but he was like,
It was
you know,
very explicit. He could have ended him, but he didn't. Yeah.
yeah. And it's the point where it's like, you know what? You don't mess with us,
Yeah.
we won't mess with you.